Today, I'm going to share with you one of the most powerful concepts that can completely change how you approach success in your life. This concept comes from a business book called Blue Ocean Strategy. Most people think this book is only about business strategy. But here's the thing. The principles in this book can explain why some people succeed easily, while others struggle their entire lives, even though they work just as hard or even harder. Before we start, let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you are still stuck in the same place? You wake up every morning. You go to work or to school. You do everything you are supposed to do. You follow all the advice. You work longer hours than your colleagues. But at the end of the year, when you look back, you realize you have not moved forward much. You are still competing for the same opportunities. You are still fighting for the same promotions. You are still trying to get noticed in a crowd of hundreds of other people who are doing the exact same thing you are doing. This is the reality for 99% of people. They spend their entire lives fighting in what the authors of Blue Ocean Strategy call a red ocean. And here's the scary part. Most people do not even realize they are in a red ocean. They think this is just how life works. They think success means working harder, competing better, and fighting more aggressively than everyone else. But what if I told you there is a completely different approach? What if I told you that the most successful people in the world do not win by competing better, but by not competing at all? Part 1, understanding the red ocean. Let me explain what a red ocean is. Imagine you are standing on a beach looking at the ocean. In some parts of the ocean, the water is red. Why is it red? Because there are hundreds of sharks fighting over the same small fish. The sharks are biting each other. They are competing aggressively. Now imagine you are one of those sharks. You wake up every morning and you have to fight. You have to fight for food. You have to fight to survive. You have to fight harder than all the other sharks around you. And even if you win today, you have to wake up tomorrow and fight again. It never ends. You are trapped in this cycle of constant competition. This is exactly what 99% of people do in their lives. They choose to swim in red oceans. They choose crowded markets. They choose popular career path. They choose to do what everyone else is doing. And then they wonder why success is so hard. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine you want to become successful on YouTube. What do most people do? They look at what is already popular. They see that gaming videos get a lot of views, so they decide to make gaming videos. Or they see that makeup tutorials are popular, so they start making makeup tutorials. Here is the problem. When you do this, you are swimming into a red ocean. There are already thousands of people making gaming videos. There are already thousands of makeup channels. There are already thousands of vloggers. You are entering a battlefield. You are choosing to compete in a space where competition is brutal. The water is already red. So what happens? You work hard, you make videos, you edit them perfectly, you post consistently, but you get 10 views, 20 views, maybe 100 if you are lucky. Why? Because you are fighting for attention in a red ocean where millions of other people are also fighting for the same attention. You are doing the same thing everyone else is doing and expecting different results. This is not just about YouTube. This applies to everything. You want to become a lawyer? There are millions of lawyers already fighting for clients. You want to become a doctor? The medical field is overcrowded with competition. You want to start a coffee shop? Every street has 5 coffee shops already competing for the same customers. You want to become a graphic designer? There are thousands of designers on Fiverr charging $5 for a logo. Here is the brutal truth. When you compete in a red ocean, your only option is to work harder than everyone else or to be cheaper than everyone else. You have to wake up earlier. You have to stay later. You have to sacrifice more. You have to lower your prices. You have to fight for every single customer. And even if you succeed, you make very little profit because competition drives prices down. You end up exhausted, burned out, and still struggling financially. This is why 99% of people struggle. Not because they are not smart, not because they are not hardworking, but because they are swimming in red oceans. Part 2, the blue ocean alternative. Now let me tell you about the blue ocean. Imagine you are standing on that same beach looking at the ocean, but this time you look at a different part of the ocean. This part is blue, crystal clear. Blue, why is it blue? Because there are no sharks there is no competition, there is no blood. The water is calm, peaceful, and full of fish. This is a blue ocean. A blue ocean is a market space where there is no competition or very little competition. It is a space you create for yourself. It is a space where you do not have to fight because you are the only one there. The authors of Blue Ocean Strategy studied hundreds of companies, and they discovered something fascinating. The most successful companies in the world did not become successful by competing better in existing markets. They became successful by creating entirely new markets. They created blue oceans. Let me give you an example from the book. Before Cirque du Soleil, the circus industry was dying. Traditional circuses were competing in a red ocean. They were all doing the same thing. They had animals, they had clowns, they had acrobats. They were competing on price. They were trying to attract the same customers, mostly families with children. The industry was declining. Profit margins were terrible. Then Cirque du Soleil came along. But here is the interesting part. Cirque du Soleil did not try to compete with traditional circuses. They did not try to have better animals or funnier clowns. Instead, they asked a different question. They asked, what if we eliminate the animals completely? What if we eliminate the clowns? What if we eliminate everything that makes a circus a circus? This sounds crazy, right? How can you have a circus without animals and clowns? But that is exactly what they did. They eliminated the animals because animals are expensive, and many people were starting to have ethical concerns about animals in circuses. They eliminated the star performers because star performers are expensive and unpredictable. They eliminated the multiple rings because multiple rings are confusing for the audience. Instead, they created something completely new. They combined elements of circus with elements of theater. They added sophisticated music. They added artistic themes. They added storylines. They created a show that appealed to adults. Not just children, they created a show that people would pay theater prices for, not circus prices. The result? Cirque du Soleil created a blue ocean. They were no longer competing with traditional circuses. They created an entirely new category of entertainment. They could charge premium prices because they had no competition. They grew faster than any circus in history. They became a global phenomenon. This is the power of blue ocean strategy. Cirque du Soleil succeeded not by competing better, but by making competition irrelevant. Part 3, why this applies to your life. Now, you might be thinking this is interesting for businesses, but how does this apply to my life? I am not starting a circus. I'm just trying to get ahead in my career, or build my business, or become financially free. Here is the thing. The same exact principle applies to you. Right now, you are probably competing in a red ocean. You are doing what everyone else is doing. You are following the same path everyone else is following. You are trying to stand out by being slightly better than everyone else. Let me ask you some questions. Are you trying to get a job by sending the same resume everyone else sends? Red ocean. Are you trying to build a business by copying what successful businesses in your industry are doing? Red ocean. Are you trying to make money online by doing what everyone on YouTube tells you to do? Red ocean. Are you trying to get into a good university by having the same extracurricular activities everyone else has? Red ocean. When you do what everyone else is doing, you force yourself to compete. And when you compete, your success depends on being better than everyone else. But here's the problem. There will always be someone smarter than you. There will always be someone who works harder than you. There will always be someone with more resources than you. There will always be someone with more experience than you. This is why competition is exhausting. You can never relax. You can never stop. You always have to watch your back. You always have to prove yourself. And even if you win today, you might lose tomorrow. But what if instead of trying to compete better, you created your own blue ocean? What if instead of fighting for a piece of the pie, you created your own pie? Let me give you some examples of people who did this. Think about Joe Rogan. Before Joe Rogan started his podcast, the world of media was a red ocean. There were thousands of journalists competing for jobs. There were thousands of radio hosts competing for audiences. There were thousands of TV personalities. Joe Rogan did not try to compete in that red ocean. He did not try to become a better journalist or a better radio host. Instead, he created something new. He created long-form conversations, 3-hour podcasts where he could talk to anyone about anything. No script, no time limits, no corporate control. This was his blue ocean. Nobody else was doing this. Traditional media could not do this because they had time constraints and advertisers and corporate policies. Joe Rogan created a new category. Now he has one of the most popular podcasts in the world. He signed a deal worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He did not win by competing better. Think about Elon Musk and Tesla. The car industry is one of the most competitive industries in the world. It is the definition of a red ocean. Giant companies with decades of experience, billions of dollars in resources, and established supply chains. Why would anyone try to compete in this industry? But Elon Musk did not try to compete with Toyota or Ford or GM in making better gas cars. Instead, he created a blue ocean. He made electric cars cool. He made electric cars desirable. He made electric cars a status symbol. Before Tesla, electric cars were boring, slow, and ugly. Tesla created a completely new category. Think about Netflix. The video rental industry was a red ocean. Blockbuster dominated. There were thousands of video rental stores competing for customers. Then Netflix came along, but Netflix did not try to compete by opening better video stores. They eliminated video stores completely. They created a blue ocean with mail delivery of DVDs. Then they created another blue ocean with streaming. Now Blockbuster is dead, and Netflix is worth billions. Part 4. How to create your own blue ocean. So how do you create your own blue ocean? The authors of Blue Ocean Strategy give us a framework. They call it the 4 Actions Framework. This framework has 4 questions you need to ask yourself. Question 1. Which factors that your industry or field takes for granted should be eliminated? Let me explain this with an example. If you are trying to become a content creator on social media, what does everyone take for granted? Everyone assumes you need to post every day. Everyone assumes you need to follow trends. Everyone assumes you need to use popular hashtags. Everyone assumes you need to fancy equipment. Everyone assumes you need to be young and attractive. What if you eliminate some of these factors? What if you post once a week instead of every day, but make each post extremely valuable? What if you ignore trends completely and create timeless content? What if you use your phone instead of expensive cameras? What if you are yourself instead of trying to look like other influencers? Question 2. Which factors should be reduced well below the industry standard? Most content creators spend hours editing their videos to make them perfect. What if you reduce editing time? What if you embrace imperfection? What if you make raw, authentic content instead of polished content? This could be your differentiator. Question 3. Which factors should be raised well above the industry standard? While everyone else is reducing quality to post more frequently, what if you do the opposite? What if you raise quality to levels nobody else can match? What if instead of making 10 mediocre videos, you make one exceptional video? What if you spend 10 times more time researching than anyone else? And so, question 4. Which factors should be created that the industry has never offered? This is the most important question. What can you offer that nobody else is offering? What unique combination can you create? Part 5. The common mistakes people make. Now let me tell you about the mistakes people make when they try to create blue oceans. The biggest mistake is thinking that creating a blue ocean means doing something completely revolutionary that nobody has ever done before. This is not true. Creating a blue ocean does not mean inventing something entirely new. It means combining existing elements in a new way. It means eliminating some things, raising some things, and creating some things. It means finding a space where competition is less intense or non-existent. Let me give you an example. You do not need to invent a new social media platform to create a blue ocean. You can create a blue ocean by focusing on a specific niche that nobody else is serving well. You can create a blue ocean by combining skills that are rarely combined. For example, if you are a graphic designer, you are competing in a red ocean. There are millions of graphic designers, but what if you become a graphic designer who specializes in designs for yoga studios? Suddenly you are in a blue ocean. There are very few designers who specialize specifically in yoga studios. You can charge premium prices. You can become the go-to person in that niche. Or what if you combine graphic design with copywriting? Most designers cannot write compelling copy. Most copywriters cannot design. If you can do both, you create a blue ocean. You offer something most people cannot offer. The second mistake people make is thinking they need to abandon their current skills or start from zero. This is not true. You can create a blue ocean by using your existing skills in a different context or combining them with new skills. The third mistake is thinking that creating a blue ocean means avoiding hard work. This is completely wrong. Creating a blue ocean still requires hard work. The difference is that your hard work is focused on creating value, not on competing. Your hard work is focused on serving an underserved audience, not on fighting for attention in an overcrowded market. Part 6. Why most people stay in red oceans. Creating blue oceans is so effective. Why do 99% of people stay in red oceans? There are several reasons. First reason is fear. Creating a blue ocean requires you to do something different. It requires you to go against the crowd. It requires you to trust yourself when everyone else thinks you are crazy. Most people are too afraid to do this. They feel safer doing what everyone else is doing, even if it means struggling. Second reason is lack of awareness. Most people do not even realize they are in a red ocean. They think competition is normal. They think struggling is normal. They think working hard for little reward is just how life works. They never question whether there might be a different way. Third reason is social pressure. When you try to create a blue ocean, people around you will question you. Your parents will ask why you are not getting a normal job like everyone else. Your friends will think you are being unrealistic. Society will tell you to play it safe. This pressure pushes most people back into red oceans. Fourth reason is short-term thinking. Creating a blue ocean takes time. In the short term, it is easier to compete in a red ocean because the path is clear. You know what to do. You follow the established rules. You copy what others are doing. Creating a blue ocean requires experimentation. It requires trying new things. It requires patience. Most people do not have this patience. Fifth reason is education system. Our entire education system trains us to compete in red oceans. From the time we are children, we are taught to get good grades so we can beat other students. We are taught to get into good universities so we can compete for good jobs. We are taught to climb the corporate ladder by being better than our colleagues. We are never taught to create our own path. We are never taught to question the game itself. Part 7, how to start creating your blue ocean today. So how do you actually start creating your blue ocean? Let me give you practical steps you can take today. Step 1, identify the red ocean you are currently in. Be honest with yourself. What are you doing that thousands of other people are also doing? What market are you competing in? What path are you following that everyone else is following? Write this down. Be specific. Do not just say I am in a competitive industry. Say I am trying to become a freelance writer by bidding on projects on Upwork where I compete with thousands of other writers, many of whom charge much less than I do. Step 2. List all the factors that define your red ocean. What are the rules of the game you are playing? What does everyone assume is necessary? What does everyone do? For example, if you are a freelance writer on Upwork, the factors might be responding quickly to job posts, having a large portfolio, charging competitive rates, having good reviews, specializing in popular niches like technology or marketing. Step 3, apply the 4 questions. Which factors can you eliminate? Which can you reduce? Which can you raise? Which can you create? Maybe you eliminate the need to respond quickly by building relationships with clients before they post jobs. Maybe you reduce your focus on having a large portfolio by focusing on quality over quantity. Maybe you raise your rates significantly, but offer exceptional value. Maybe you create a unique positioning, like you only work with sustainable businesses, or you only write for companies in a specific industry. Step 4, test your blue ocean hypothesis. You do not need to completely abandon your current approach immediately. Start small. Test your blue ocean idea while keeping your current income stream. See if there is demand. See if people value what you are offering. Step 5, commit and iterate. If your blue ocean idea shows promise, commit to it. Go all in. But also be willing to iterate. Your first version of your blue ocean might not be perfect. You might need to adjust. You might need to try different combinations of factors. The important thing is to start. The important thing is to stop competing and start creating. Part 8, the compound effect of blue oceans. Here is something the authors of Blue Ocean Strategy talk about that most people miss. When you create a blue ocean, you do not just make your life easier in the short term. You create a compound advantage that grows over time. Think about it this way. When you compete in a red ocean, your growth is limited by competition. Every time you try to grow, there are competitors blocking you. Every time you try to raise your prices, competition keeps prices low. Every time you try to expand, someone else is expanding too. But when you create a blue ocean, you have room to grow without resistance. You can raise prices because you have no direct competition. You can expand because nobody is blocking you. You can build a brand because you are the only one in your space. You can develop expertise because you are focused on one specific area. Over time, this compounds. In a red ocean, you might grow by 5% a year because competition limits your growth. In a blue ocean, you might grow by 50% a year because you have no competition. After 5 years, the difference is enormous. Let me give you a concrete example. Imagine 2 freelancers. Freelancer A competes in a red ocean. He is a general web developer competing on Upwork with thousands of other developers. He charges $50 an hour. He has to work 60 hours a week to make $3,000 a month. After 5 years, he might be charging $70 an hour and making $4,000 a month. His growth is limited by competition. Freelancer B creates a blue ocean. She specializes in building websites, specifically for therapists and counselors. She learns everything about this niche. She understands their needs, their clients, their challenges. She charges $200 an hour because she is the expert in this specific niche. She only needs to work 20 hours a week to make $4,000 a month. After 5 years, she has become the go-to person for therapist websites. She charges $500 an hour. She only works 15 hours a week and makes $7,000 a month. Plus, she has created courses and templates that generate passive income. Same amount of talent, same amount of hard work, completely different results. The difference is one competed in a red ocean, and one created a blue ocean. Part 9, your mindset shift. The most important thing you need to understand about Blue Ocean Strategy is that it requires a complete mindset shift. You need to stop thinking about competition and start thinking about value creation. Most people wake up every morning thinking, how can I beat my competitors? How can I work harder than everyone else? How can I be better than the person next to me? This is red ocean thinking. You need to wake up every morning thinking, how can I create value that nobody else is creating? How can I serve people in a way nobody else is serving them? How can I make competition irrelevant? This is blue ocean thinking. Most people look at successful people and think I need to copy what they are doing. This is red ocean thinking. You need to look at successful people and think, what did they do that was different? What blue ocean did they create? How can I create my own blue ocean in my own way? This is blue ocean thinking. Most people see a crowded market and think this market is popular, so there must be opportunity here. This is red ocean thinking. You need to see a crowded market and think this market is too crowded. I need to find an underserved market or create a new market. This is blue ocean thinking. The authors of Blue Ocean Strategy found that companies that created blue oceans did not have better resources or smarter people or more luck. They had a different mindset. They looked at their industry differently. They asked different questions. They challenged assumptions that everyone else took for granted. You can do the same thing. You do not need more money. You do not need more talent. You do not need more connections. You need to start thinking differently. Part 10. Why this makes getting ahead easy. Now, let me come back to the title of this essay. Why is it actually pretty easy to get ahead of 99% of people? Because 99% of people are competing in red oceans. They're fighting over the same opportunities, they're following the same paths. They are doing what everyone else is doing. If you create a blue ocean, you are not competing with these 99% anymore. You are playing a different game. You are in your own space. You automatically get ahead because you are not stuck in the crowd anymore. Think about it this way. Imagine there is a race. 99 people are running on the same track. They are pushing each other. They are fighting for position. They are exhausted. The winner of this race will be whoever trains the hardest runs the fastest and has the most natural talent. But you are not on that track. You created your own track. There is nobody else running on your track. You do not need to be the fastest. You do not need to train the hardest. You just need to keep running on your own track. You will reach the finish line way before most of the 99 people on the crowded track because they are too busy fighting each other. This is why creating a blue ocean makes success easier. Not because it requires less work, but because your work is focused on creating value, not on competing. Your energy goes into building something unique, not into fighting for scraps. Conclusion, book Blue Ocean Strategy teaches us that the most successful people and companies do not win by competing better. They win by making competition irrelevant. They create their own rules, they create their own rules, they create blue oceans. You can do the same thing in your life. You do not need to be smarter than everyone else. You do not need to work harder than everyone else. You do not need to have more resources than everyone else. You just need to stop competing and start creating. Stop swimming in red oceans where everyone is fighting for the same fish. Start creating blue oceans where you have room to grow without resistance. Ask yourself the 4 questions. What can I eliminate? What can I reduce? What can I raise? What can I create? Find a space where you can serve people in a way nobody else is serving them. Find a combination of skills that nobody else has. Find a niche that nobody else is addressing. Find your own game to play. This is how you get ahead of 99% of people. Not by being better at the game everyone else is playing, but by creating your own game. Not by competing harder, but by making competition irrelevant. Not by following the crowd, but by finding your own path. The choice is yours. You can spend your entire life fighting in red oceans wondering why success is so hard. Or you can create your own blue ocean and watch opportunities flow to you naturally. The tools are in your hands. The framework is clear. The only question is, will you have the courage to do something different? Will you have the courage to create your own blue ocean? If you found this helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. It keeps me motivated to create more content like this. Thanks for reading and have a great day.